Welcome to the Thornton Review.
The show designed with you in mind. If it's important to you, it's important to us.
Jarl Young is the Vice President and General Manager for Florida Power and Light Northwest Florida region. JT grew up in Pensacola, Florida and attended PJC where he received his associate's degree. He received his bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from the University of Florida, his MBA from the University of West Florida, and is a graduate of Harvard Business School's General Management program. JT's impressive career began as a systems engineer at one of the Tennessee Valley Authority's nuclear plants, then as an engineer at Progress Energy in Florida. JT worked with Gulf Power Company for 29 years, which is now FPL, where he advanced to Chief Information Officer for Accounting, Finance, and Treasury. He then served as the 11th president and CEO of Memphis Light, Gas, and Water, which is the nation's largest three-service municipal utility. JT has been at his current position with FPL since 2022. During his career, JT has served on and chaired many boards and accomplished numerous honors for his dedication to community. Two examples would include a gubernatorial appointment on the Judicial Nominating Commission for Florida's First Judicial Circuit and as trustee on the University of West Florida Board. JT and his wife Deidre have two adult sons, Thomas and Joseph, and a grandson, Jordan. Hi, I'm Pueschel Schneier, Executive Producer and Manager of the Thornton Review. Thank you for tuning in. On today's show, we have JT Young, Vice President and General Manager of Florida Power and Light Northwest Florida region. So, JT, it's really nice to have you on the show. We have a lot of exciting things to talk about, so will you please introduce yourself?
Well, thank you, Pueschel. I'm excited to be here. Looking forward to spending some time talking about the value that we at FPL here are looking to bring to our customers and the communities that we're blessed to serve.
Thank you for that. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll continue our discussion with JT Young, Florida Power and Light Vice President and General Manager of Northwest Florida region. There is no government-funded program that can guide a man's thoughts. Only God can do that. Company can install any type of fence. When you call and mention the Thornton Review, you'll receive a $100 discount on your fence. They also offer military discounts. Vinyl fence, wood fence, aluminum fence, chain link fence. If it has the word fence, Alpha Fence Company can do it. 850-586-8020. 850-586-8020. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to begin our discussion with JT Young of Florida Power and Light. So JT, this is kind of an exciting year. It's the 100th anniversary, so it's the centennial of Florida Power and Light. So it must be exciting to be part of this history. And can you tell us a little about what's going on and your value story?
Absolutely. So Florida Power and Light began 100 years ago this year, and believe it or not, at that point in time, Florida Power and Light started with just a very small, we had some sponge boats, we had an ice plant, and actually 35 mules, right? And that was kind of the genesis of what now has become FPL. Back then, the state of Florida had roughly 1 million folks there, maybe 2.5 million visitors a year. Of course, now the state's over 20 million citizens, over 140 million visitors any given year. And along with that growth, FPL has certainly worked diligently to ensure that we were able to manage that growth and deliver value to the customers that we serve. And we, of course, serve well over half, nearly 60% of the state's population. And so we are excited about that. And now we're the largest electric utility in the country.
So FPL started 100 years ago. In what area of Florida did it start?
So predominantly the Miami area, South Florida area, and of course has grown over the years.
Okay.
And
So now it's all the way from Miami to Pensacola.
correct. Well, we serve, so
and
if
then
you,
parts of Alabama.
yeah, we serve 43 counties throughout the state. Of the 67 counties, we serve 43 of the 67 counties. We have over 6 million customer accounts. And again, as I mentioned earlier, over 12 million citizens that we serve. And so we're certainly across the state in many areas.
Interesting. So can you tell me the difference between Gulf Power and Florida Power and Light?
Well, some may remember that about 5 or 6 years ago, FPL, actually the parent company NextEra, but FPL acquired Gulf Power Company. And during that acquisition, and it took a period of time for that transition to occur. Gulf Power Company was, of course, its own utility, was a part of Southern Company, but the region that was Gulf Power Company then became part of Florida Power and Light back in 2019. And so officially in 2022, the effective date of that was January of 2022. And so as a result of that, the customers that were formerly being served by Gulf Power Company now are served by Florida Power and Light. And we believe that and I'll talk a little bit here in a minute about the value story. And I think we are able now to deliver incredible value to our customers that we serve in the Northwest Florida region, along with other customers throughout the state of Florida.
And we're going to get into more of that. Can you tell us about your journey? You've had a very impressive career. You were with Gulf Power for 29 years, and then you were with the Tennessee Valley Authority, which is the largest tri-utility in the nation. Were you with them when Florida Power and Light took over
Yes.
Power, and then you moved?
Yeah, thanks, Michelle. That's a great question. In my career, over 4 decades in the utility industry, and so I've seen a lot. I spent, as you said, 29 years with Gulf Power Company. I grew up here in Northwest Florida, a native, and spent about 29 years with Gulf Power Company. But prior to coming to Gulf Power Company, I was with TVA. I started my career right out of college at a nuclear plant with TVA. And then I went to the central part of the state, Tampa Bay area, spent about 5 years with what's now Duke Energy Florida. I did engineering and marketing there. Then I spent the 29 years with Gulf, and before the transition to FPL, I was offered the opportunity to go to Memphis, Tennessee, and to be president and CEO for Memphis Light, Gas, and Water. And so that's where I spent almost 5 years following the 29-year career that I had with Gulf Power Company there in Memphis. And it is served by TVA, the MLGW is served by TVA. And then about 3 years ago, late 22, had the opportunity to come back home to be a part of what I think is just a great opportunity here in Northwest Florida with FPL in this role.
You coming back.
Yeah, so grateful to be back in the community.
Well, with a big change, FPL taking over Gulf Power, and it's a much larger area. So what area are you actually? I know it's the Northwest Florida region, but what area does that encompass?
Yeah, so essentially, if you can, for some of those watching who may or may not know, when it was Gulf Power Company, we served 8 counties across the Northwest Florida region, and so essentially that's the same area. We had at the time probably 450,000 metered customers during that time, and of course now it's grown. That's more than that now.
Right.
But we typically we typically say the Panhandle. Yeah, the Panhandle area of Florida, from about Pensacola over to the Apalachicola area, just the other side of Panama City.
Yeah.
So that's the region pretty much that we consider, and so essentially that's the area within Northwest Florida. But we are connected electrically and otherwise to the rest of the state of Florida, as well as one utility, FPL. And so we're so excited to be a part of the FPL family and the value that now can be brought to our customers here in Northwest Florida as a result of that. And it's been, I think there's a lot of value that's being brought. We had, of course, a lot of challenges, as you would have in any transition and acquisition, and but it's beginning to look so much better now, and our customers are able to see so much value by being a part of the nation's largest electric utility here in Northwest Florida. They're able to see that benefit from the investments that we're able to make in infrastructure and the value that we're being able to deliver there by having higher reliability. Our reliability now for the customers that we serve in the Panhandle region is 63% better than it was in 2018. And so that means that customers who are now in the Panhandle, have their power on more overall
During
than they did
storms.
before. Yeah,
I've noticed
yeah,
that
yeah.
because during certain storms, I'm just surprised the power hasn't gone out.
Well, we do have outages occasionally, but the
Yeah,
great news
yeah.
is that a lot of
Yeah,
investments
a
being
lot
made,
less.
to
I
help
see
with
that.
that.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
So, when you say FPL is building a more like resilient grid, can you explain that?
Sure. One of the things that I talk to our customers about routinely is that now, as part of Florida Power and Light, as part of FPL, we are able to make investments that we probably could have never made at the magnitude that we're making now as a standalone entity. So the investments that we're able to make in our infrastructure, what we call harden our infrastructure, whether that be steel poles, concrete poles, more undergrounding of our utilities, of our infrastructure, that all goes to help make a more resilient infrastructure. In addition to that, innovative technology that we've been able to leverage across our network is also helpful for our customers in terms of that reliability number that I talked about. That helps our customers' power stay on more and more and delivers more value for them. And so being a part of FPL has just allowed us to be able to more quickly do that. We've seen over 250 miles of our main lines that we serve our customers by have been hardened. 75% of our transmission poles in Northwest Florida have been hardened to either steel or concrete, and those transmission lines bring the bulk power
So they used to
into
be
our
wood
communities. They
and
used to be wooden.
poles.
Yep. So
Now they're
we're
steel.
75% of the way on our way to 100%.
So they're just stronger. They don't fall over.
They're
Is that what you're saying?
stronger, more resilient.
Okay.
I will not say they won't fall because you never know in any storm.
But less likely than a wooden
But it's
pole.
definitely less likely and it's more resilient. And so all of those things and more really parlay into adding more value for our customers. There's three real table stakes that we talk about with regards to our value story. And the first one, of course, is reliability. I mean, our customers want that. And that's
Absolutely.
important. So reliability is number one. And I'll talk a little bit later about a diverse energy mix. That's the second table stake, if you will, of our value story. And then thirdly, keeping bills as low as possible is so important for our customers in terms of delivering value to them. All of those things we try to bring together to the table so that our customers can enjoy the value that we are committed to deliver.
So FPL can restore, like if the electricity does go out,
Mhm.
FPL can restore power more quickly than Gulf Power did.
Well, as a result of the investments that we've been able to make, as I said earlier, reliability is higher now. And it's higher because of a number of things, including the infrastructure upgrades that we've made, as well as the technology that we've leveraged. We have just across Northwest Florida over 9,000 what we call intelligent devices that we've deployed across our system. Those devices, that technology allows us to detect outages and
Okay.
oftentimes restore
I was just
outages.
thinking that
Yeah,
was going to be my next question. I
yeah,
used to be on the Citizens Advisory Committee for ECUA, the water
yes,
utilities, and they have kind of the same thing. They have the technology where they can see where the like the water damage or the leak is.
yeah.
So y'all have the technology on. You can look on a computer screen and
So
you can
those
tell
those
where.
devices, yeah, those devices are actually deployed in the field
Okay.
on our structures and in our infrastructure, and those devices can sense when there are outages that occur. Maybe a car hit a pole, it could be a storm and a tree branch hits the line or anything of that nature. And oftentimes, because of those devices sense the outage, can reroute the power, can make those outages that customers experience much shorter, or sometimes avoid those outages altogether. Just depends on the level of that disruption. But those devices, coupled with the hardening of our system, We've got several of our communities in our neighborhoods across Northwest Florida. We've gone in and put in underground network. We've got a program that a storm secure underground program that allows us to do that. And we look at based on the reliability of those neighborhoods, service to those neighborhoods, we make decisions on where to go.
Are there
And so
transformers underground also?
that's exactly right. We have many transformers that are underground, many
Mhm.
are overhead, of course. But in those areas where we put in underground utilities, then yes, the transformers or the pad mounted transformers that you'll see
Mhm.
that sit on the ground. So all of those things come together
Mhm.
to bring more value to our
Are
customers.
they waterproofed underground?
So at the end of the day, I will say that they are able to withstand weather. They are designed to be outside.
Uh,
And
So
so, of
there's ground
course,
saturation, and we also have the under the the water table, underground water table.
yeah, so the cables
Obviously,
that
they're above that, but
yeah, the cables that we install underground, of course, are designed to be underground. They're
uh
designed to interact with those elements that are underground. Those cables are made for that. All the underground equipment is designed to be outside.
that's amazing. Just
Yeah,
modern technology,
yeah.
and of course, there's a cost that comes with modern technology because it's not cheap to have
Hmm.
all this computer stuff and to have everything underground. It's probably a little more expensive than the old timey uh, wooden poles with with the wires and the insulators. Remember the glass insulators they had
Yes, I do.
100 years
Yes, I do
ago?
remember that. And
Those
with
are
those,
probably about 50 years ago. I
yeah,
used to see them in my
yeah.
lifetime when I was
And
younger.
all of those things you're talking about that we've made improvements on helps us to deliver more reliability
Mhm,
to our customers. And so our customers get the benefit
mhm,
of those investments.
mhm,
And so that's the way we think about the things that we do when we're making decisions about how to ensure that that value gets delivered. We're thinking about whether it's technology, whether it's hardening, whatever it is.
mhm,
We're thinking about ways to make things better for our customers all the time.
mhm. So in the news a couple years ago, you would hear things about the grid going out. America's power grid is so old and possibly crumbling that there could be blackouts in certain areas. It sounds like FPL is on top of it and they're making the upgrades before anything like that ever happens.
Yeah, and one of the things I will tell you, there's a number of things that have impressed me with the FPL way of doing what we do, having worked for many utilities, and that's one of them. We're an innovative company, a company that looks to ensure that as we deliver value, we're doing so in the way that's most efficient, most innovative. And so, of course, when we think about ways to bring that value, we're always trying to understand how to do it better than we did before. And so, of course, when you think about outages, when you think about things that could be disruptive to our customers, we're always wanting to think about, how best can we design and install this equipment so that it will deliver that value that we promise to our customers. And so we are blessed to have a network and we have a lot of folks, be they engineers, designers, line crews, folks that are out there every day doing a great job ensuring that we're delivering and installing that infrastructure in ways that will last for our customers.
Mhm. So how do you keep the costs low? Have we experienced any rate increases lately? And how is FPL
Yeah,
working to, you know, acknowledge your customer base? Not everybody is on a high income level,
sure.
and sometimes the electric bills are kind of burdensome and painful to look at. How are you keeping
No
costs down
doubt.
for
And
these people?
great question, Marcel. And I'll say this in a couple of ways. One, we're very, very sensitive. I mentioned those three table stakes to our value story. That third one of keeping cost bills as low as possible. That's one we take very, very seriously. And when you think about ways to do that, one of the things that we are always stressing are things that we can do in an innovative way, in an efficient way. If you think about the average utility across the country, if you think about the average utility, our cost, if you took the average utilities cost and transferred it to FPL, our customers' bills would be $24 a month higher than they
Mhm.
actually are because of the innovation and the efficiency that we actually build into our system and our processes. So we deliver that value, that $24 a month savings, which turns out to be almost $3 billion a year across our
Mhm.
customer base.
Right.
We share that, we deliver that savings every day to our customers because of the innovation, the efficiency, and the way in which we operate. And so when we make strategic investments to bring about more resiliency, leverage more technology, that value gets passed on to our customers. Customers may have heard about the fact that back in August, we reached a rate settlement agreement with many of our stakeholders. And in that rate settlement agreement, in particular for Northwest Florida, there's really, really good news because that rate settlement agreement that we've reached with those stakeholders basically means that the rates and customer bills for customers in Northwest Florida essentially will remain relatively flat for the next 2 years, beginning in January of 26. And so that's when our new 4-year rate plan goes into effect. And that is a result of many things. Of course, our focus on ensuring that we keep those bills as low as possible is one of those. And so our customers here in Northwest Florida in particular will see direct benefit of that, in those rates remaining relatively flat for the first 2 years, and then only modest increases well below the rate of inflation and well below the national average for electricity, even after the rate change goes fully into effect in the last couple of years of the 4-year agreement. So I say that to say customers in Northwest Florida, and really customers across the FPL network, can be assured that our rates will remain well below the national average throughout the time period of our 4-year agreement that we have now in front of the Florida Public Service Commission.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah.
So I should have asked about the snowstorm when we were talking more about weather, but
Sure,
we had a snowstorm in
we did.
Pensacola, which is unheard of. I
That's
was
right.
stranded in Washington, D.C. at the time, and so I missed out.
You
My
did.
son grew up here,
Okay.
is now 21 years old, is living in Washington, D.C., working on Capitol Hill. And, my parents were sending us pictures of the snow in the yard, and he's
Absolutely.
showing his friends. He's like, I grew up in Pensacola, never once stormed. Move away, and it
There you go.
snows.
Yeah.
So, snowstorm. So, and like I said, I was stranded. They canceled flights for 2 days.
Well, I'll tell you that snowstorm,
was
Michelle,
fun.
was back in January. Everybody
Mhm.
remembers where they were, January 20th, and it was an incredible time. It was actually a blizzard, and it was not just snow; it was a blizzard, and it went on all
Interesting.
day, probably 10 to 12 hours. But one of the
People
things
from around here just are not used to that.
we're not. But I will tell you, and at that time, by the way, we actually had more snow, I think, than Chicago, Illinois had at that
Right.
time. So we were well ahead. But kudos to our team, the crews, and I talked about the technology and the infrastructure. Even in snowstorms, even in the snowstorm, we were able to leverage those investments. And most customers were on their power, had their power back. If they lost power, they had their power back within 24 hours, and after the storm ended. And we just were able to see the incredible benefit of the investments that we've made, and our customers really saw that. We had crews engaged that worked around the clock, and as we do in any storm, we are constantly focused on ensuring that we are working diligently to get power restored, whether that's a hurricane, whether that's again the snowstorm, blizzard, or
I don't
what
think
have
that's
you.
going to happen again.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you never know. I mean, weather is weather,
Yeah.
and so we didn't know that was going to happen. So who can say? But I will tell you what we most prepare for. Of course, I don't know if you're going to ask me about this, but I'll tell you more about the when you think about storm preparation and think about the hurricane season, which of course we're
Mhm.
in as we speak in Florida. We think about you're pretty much in storm season most of the year because Florida has storms all the time. But
Yeah,
one of the
thunderstorms pop up all the
yeah,
time.
absolutely, absolutely.
At any given time.
And part of the reason we're so committed to having that resilient system and that resilient infrastructure and the technology that we leverage is so that during times like that, when there are storms, our customers can be the beneficiaries of a resilient
Mhm.
system. And so that's one of the things that we see and we prepare. We do dry runs for hurricane season, get our employees prepared. All employees have a storm assignment, all employees are ready. And we prepare in May. We do a week-long dry run as if we were having a real storm, and employees go through that.
So
And
it's
we make
training.
sure, yeah, we make sure that we are ready to respond to those storms in the event that they occur.
How do you decide whose power gets turned on first?
Yeah, and again, another point that I'll make that I see at FPL that I think is an incredible advantage that I haven't seen as well done as well in the other utilities. FPL has an incredible process by which they do restoration. all utilities do great at restoration, and I won't say that they don't, but I will say in particular here at FPL, we work very, very closely with emergency management folks. We make sure that from a process standpoint, we make sure that all of our systems are up and running, generating plants, et cetera. Transmission lines are up and running. But we also work closely with our emergency management officials so that we can make sure that those 911 centers, police and fire, and other critical infrastructure facilities are ready to go first, because we want to make sure they're able to respond to the public in general. And then we make decisions around restoring lines that serve the most customers to get them back on safely and quickly as we move down the line, ultimately to make sure that every customer has their power back if they've lost power. And so we do that very methodically, but very, very relentlessly. And we do that 24/7 until everyone has their power back on.
I want to talk about the future of FPL, but we're going to take a commercial break.
Okay.
And I want to explain to our viewers that the Thornton Review is a civic engagement show with a purpose to spread awareness by interviewing local elected officials, candidates, and professional leaders. This is information you won't get anywhere else. You can watch the Thornton Review on our various outlets, our website, thethorntonreview.com, on Vimeo. Please follow the Thornton Review on YouTube. Please subscribe to the Thornton Review at the Thornton Review 7810. Please like our Facebook page, the Thornton Review Show, on TV, WBQP Channel 12, and on WBQP, Roku, and Fire Stick. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll continue our discussion with J.T. Young, Vice President and General Manager of FPL. There is no government-funded program that can guide a man's thoughts. Only God can do that. Company can install any type of fence. When you call and mention the Thornton Review, you'll receive a $100 discount on your fence. They also offer military discounts. Vinyl fence, wood fence, aluminum fence, chain link fence. If it has the word fence, Alpha Fence Company can do it. 850-586-8020. 850-586-8020. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to continue our discussion with J.T. Young about Florida Power and Light. So I wanted to ask you, where do we get our energy? Like, how does FPL create our energy? I've heard about the diversified energy mix.
Yes.
So that to me sounds like it's from more than one source.
That's exactly what it means. You got it.
And you're burning coal?
It's a very, no, well, we're not. And here's the thing, it's very important to understand that at FPL, one of the things I talked about our value story and the table stakes around that. And the second one, of course, is the diversified energy mix. There's an incredible amount of value that our customers receive from that, much like those who are, I'm not one of these, but people who are successful at making investments do so with a diversified portfolio. When it comes to energy and generating that energy, at FPL, we believe it's very important to have a diversified mix of energy. So we generate our energy from various sources. We have nuclear. We have 4 nuclear units, 2 plants.
In Northwest Florida.
They're in the St. Lucie plant. We have they're both in both. Yeah, both plants are in South Florida. But we get the benefit in Northwest Florida of that nuclear energy because we are electrically interconnected with the rest of our system. And so the generation of that nuclear energy that comes from that area also gets put on the grid.
That helps.
And that helps, right. So our customers get the benefit of that. And so when you think about nuclear, we also have gas, natural gas, clean gas that we we generate energy from that, and we also have solar and with battery. We also so when we think about the fact that there's no one source of energy or generation that we rely upon, that really helps deliver value for our customers. It helps maintain, of course, the reliability of from that perspective, of course, because we're never just dependent on any one. If something were to happen, but bigger, maybe even larger than that, from a cost perspective, our customers get the benefit because we have a diversified mix of energy. Our customers realize that when it comes, because we can shift around how we acquire and how we deliver generate that energy based on those costs, and our customers get the benefit of the lowest cost option. Part of that innovation that came about as we did get rid of a lot of our coal units and all of our coal units, because we had innovative new technologies that we leveraged to be able to deliver energy more efficiently, more innovatively, and in a cleaner way. That made it important for our customers to be able to have that diversity of generation, delivering energy to them in ways that it didn't happen before in the way that it is now. And so we're excited about being able to deliver energy from a diversified energy mix.
So 100 years ago when FPL started, how were they creating the energy? Were they burning coal?
Oh gosh, there was oil. There was, I
Mhm.
mean, back in those days. Of course, I wasn't there,
Sure.
but
No,
I'll say
I'm
that.
just interested in the
Yeah,
history and the revolution, the evolution of
sure,
how it got
sure,
to
eh,
today and through the years. Because
yeah,
100 years ago is 18,
yeah.
whatever it is,
No,
1925,
1925. Yeah, so that would
1925,
have been 100
whatever it
years
is.
ago,
And
and
that's hard to believe.
yeah, yeah, 100
1925 is
years.
100 years ago.
So that
I'm used to 100 years ago being in the
yeah,
1800s.
and not only were there that the energy was generated differently. I mean, the way it
Mhm,
was generated, not just the source,
mhm,
but the efficiencies of the units have improved now over time. So we get the benefit. Our customers will get the benefit of that as well. So
mhm,
the diverse fuel mix makes a huge difference. The
mhm,
technology that's now integrated within our generation portfolio makes a big difference for our customers,
mhm.
and so they can see that again. The value of that is also reflective in the reason. That's one of the reasons that as we look forward here for our customers in Northwest Florida, their bills, if the settlement that we propose is accepted and approved by the Commission, Florida Public Service Commission, part of the reason that they're going to see that relatively flat bill for the next couple of years has to do some with the fact that our fuel projection cost for fuel is projected to be a little bit lower than we thought even back in August. And so it's important for customers to see, to know that those are the things that go on all the time, that we work relentlessly to make sure we deliver value for them. And
Right. So customers aren't just paying for the energy, the production of the energy, because there's a lot more involved in
absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
There's the grid, there's the employees, there's the mechanical, the vehicles,
Hmm.
everything, the engineers that have to make all this run. So
Yeah,
there's a lot more. I mean, when you think about it, there's a lot more to it than just creating the power, just
absolutely.
producing the
Yeah,
power.
absolutely.
Mhm,
And FPL, I think, does it better than anyone I've seen. Makes it that takes it from generation right to your doorstep, or right to that business person's business, than anyone I've seen. And I think they do it in a way that's efficient, productive, innovative,
mhm.
and works very diligently to keep those bills as low as possible for our customers.
Is there any legislation that requires you to do solar farming in any certain areas or where to put the solar panels
So I'm not aware of legislation that requires it.
or prevents it?
No, I'm not aware. Well, I'm not aware. Not saying that there isn't. I'm not aware of that. I will say that when I talked about the diverse energy mix,
Mhm,
the fact that we do have solar, we have, of course, there are statutes that allow us to deliver energy with solar, using solar power, and we do. And that's part of our planning as we look out over the horizon of how we're going to provide energy for our customers. We
mhm,
know we have to keep up with the growing demand. We know that renewable energy right now is the lowest cost form of delivering energy for our customers. And so we know our customers would enjoy that. It's not only the lowest cost form, it's also probably the form that allows us to more quickly meet the demands of the growth that we have. And so fortunately, FPL has been doing a lot in that regard to try to make sure that we are finding ways to efficiently and innovatively meet those growing demands of energy that we have across our growing state.
Mhm.
And we expect by the end of this decade to have another 335,000 customers, and we have to meet that demand in a way that's smart and that's customer oriented, and that's our focus.
Mhm. Okay. So back to storms.
Mhm.
How can customers prepare for a storm? Like, what should we
I'll
do
say three
within
words to encapsulate it, and that is have a plan.
have a plan?
Have
All
a
right.
plan. I
Yeah.
think our customers need to
Mhm.
have a plan.
Have
And
flashlights and
I think it
batteries
needs to
and
be everything from if
generators.
evacuation
Sure.
routes and where you're going to
That would be the
go,
first thing.
know ahead of time. If you're going to evacuate, know where you plan to go. Make sure that you look out for things. You mentioned things like, batteries, flashlight, things that you need around the home, of course, that you'll need to stay safe. Make
Mhm.
sure that
Food that
if
doesn't
you
require refrigeration,
right, exactly. And
minimal cooking.
make sure that you're thinking about if you have elderly relatives, people that you have to
Mhm.
look out for that need
Mhm.
assistance that can't necessarily evacuate on their own or need to be looked
Mhm.
after, pets. Be sure you're thinking about all of those kinds of things, how you're going to communicate with others and things of that nature. So be prepared, have a
Mhm.
plan, know what you're going to do ahead of time, have all your resources available,
Mhm.
and think about the ways in which you would actually want to make sure that you all are staying safe throughout the storm. If you've been here long enough, you've been through a storm, and so you know how it can be. It's unpredictable. Every storm is different. There's no way to say exactly what's going to happen when there is
Mhm.
a hurricane in particular, nor do you necessarily know from which direction or how long things are going to be disrupted. We know it's going to be disruptive, but you don't know how long, and so that's very, very important. One of the things I will tell you, Michelle, is that what we saw last year, we of course had major hurricanes hit the state of Florida last year, and we saw three storms. And during Hurricane Milton, which entered the state as a Category 3 storm and exited the state as a Category 1 storm, it was a hurricane all the way through. We had about 2 million of our customers impacted, but we had about
Mhm.
75% of those customers restored within 24 hours because, again, of the investments that we made in the resiliency of our system. And so we're continuing to work hard to make sure that we deploy technology like robots and rovers and things that we can use in the field, drones to evaluate damage that may be on the lines where we can actually see
Mhm.
without getting folks in there. We can see ahead of time what's going on and know how to prepare, how to restore that service
Mhm.
very quickly. So we've been able to see that work very, very well on our system, and we're excited to see how that is being bringing value to our customers.
So, in planning and expanding, does FPL acknowledge environmental impact?
Of course, we are complying. We certainly make it our focus to be compliant with all environmental standards. We want to make sure that we are engaging with the regulatory entities to ensure. In fact, those are requirements, whether it's in a plant environment or
Mhm.
otherwise. We're making sure that we do that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Does FPL, how is FPL invested in the community?
Well, one of the things that we think about when we think about the communities that we serve, we always think about we do more than just deliver electricity to our customers. We are also wanting to make sure that we're invested in strengthening those communities that we serve. And so, in a number of different ways, we are making investments, whether it's within organizations or other entities around
Mhm.
the communities that we serve, to help strengthen those communities. And so, in a number of ways that we're doing that, we are actually engaging, whether it's nonprofits, where we can make investments to help them as they help others. We, of course, have employees that are engaged in volunteering their time and their efforts in making sure that these communities are better places to live
So they're
and to
engaged in the
work.
community and
Absolutely,
run
absolutely,
programs. And,
absolutely. And we certainly want to make sure that we're a part of the solutions that are needed to help strengthen the communities that we serve, and we do that in a number of ways.
Mhm. What is the Holiday Hero program?
Yeah, that's a great program. That's one that's kind of near and dear to my heart. Holiday Hero Lighting Program is a program where we recognize heroes across the FPL service area. and we recognize them for the service that they provide to communities and to our nation.
Okay.
And we've done a number of those. One that's really near and dear to me. We did last year. We had a Coast Guard family moving from
Okay.
California to Pensacola,
Mhm.
and the day before they were to move to Pensacola, they had a van, their moving van, which was in their driveway out in California, was stolen
Oh
with all of
no.
their
Ugh.
belongings. And we found out about that, and our
Mhm.
employees came together to decorate their home that they were moving
Mhm.
to,
Did
provide
they
some
ever
gifts.
find their van or get any of their belongings
Not to
back?
my knowledge,
Wow.
but I will say that it was one of those
My
that we were able
gosh.
to engage with. Our employees came
Uh-huh.
together, not only did the decoration, but provided gifts for the family. Met
Mhm.
with them. It was a surprise for for him,
Mhm.
the husband there and the
Yeah.
father.
Well, what a blessing.
But yeah, but
Yeah.
it was an incredible thing. And I'll tell you one other thing beyond that, Michelle, that I think
Mhm.
is important. We do what we call classroom makeovers from an educational standpoint. It's really important that
Mhm.
we're engaged in education, and we do things something called a classroom makeover, where we'll go into a school and actually
Mhm.
do a makeover for a classroom, make it more innovative, and it's focused really on STEM education: science, technology, engineering, math. And in the Northwest Florida area this year, FPL across our footprint, we're doing 20 $50,000 grants to schools across the service areas. Six of those 20 are right here in Northwest Florida. And just last week, we were over at Choctawhatchee High School, where we did a makeover grant to them in their aviation program. But we've also, so again, six of the 20 right here in Northwest Florida. And those grants help those students and those schools to be
Mhm.
able to teach in a more innovative way, skills for the students to learn about science and math oriented, engineering oriented curriculum.
Mhm. Are y'all an employee friendly and invested in your employees?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We
Mhm.
are, we believe that our employees are
So, and
the
you're
greatest
able to
asset that we
retain
have.
a high percentage of employees?
I'm sorry.
Are you able to retain a high percentage of employees, or do you have a big turnover?
Well,
Maybe
so
certain departments, it
yeah,
probably depends.
so
But
we have across the FPL footprint, we have employees from all backgrounds and from in
mhm.
all disciplines,
Sure.
and
Mhm.
those employees are dedicated
It's
employees, committed,
broad.
very broad, and very committed to
Uh-huh.
delivering on the things that I talked about earlier with regards to delivering value to our customers. And we are one of those employers who make sure that we're trying our best to invest
Mhm.
in our people, to do things to help them be excited about what they do.
Mhm. That's that's good. That's very important
Absolutely.
because a lot of people are looking for jobs
Sure. Absolutely.
here in this area, and they're
Yeah.
looking for a good company that they can grow with and that's going to take care of them. It's a two-way street. You have to do a good job, and then your employer will take care of you
Absolutely.
in great ways. So Florida keeps growing.
Hmm.
How is FPL going to cater to the new population growth?
Yeah. One of the things that I'll say this is so important. Florida has been a growing state and will
Yes.
continue to be a growing state. FPL has had to keep up with the growth in this state, in the state of Florida, over the years. And as we look out into the
Mhm.
future, and that's part of what this settlement that we just reached back in August with the stakeholders in our rate plan is really about. It's about dealing with and being able to meet the growth that we see coming
Mhm.
within the next several years. I mentioned earlier 335,000 more customers by the end of this decade that we expect to have in the state of Florida. And those customers will have power needs, and we'll have to be sure we're investing now. We can't wait
Mhm.
until they get here. We have to start investing now in our infrastructure to ensure that we are prepared for that arrival of those customers so that when they
Mhm.
get here, the power is ready for them to be able to do what they need to do. And so we work very, very closely with a number of economic development agencies across the state and other agencies in preparation and in anticipation of growth that's coming, so that we can make sure that we're ready when they do arrive.
Okay, so you have been in this industry for 40 years.
Almost 43, yeah, yeah,
Okay,
40 plus.
43. Okay.
Yeah,
So almost half a century.
thank you very
Yeah,
much. That's
pretty close
true.
to that. Uh-huh. Yeah.
So
So you've seen a lot.
Hmm.
You've seen a lot of changes because you're right there inside. You're the inside guy. You've seen all the changes. What's the biggest change in this evolution that maybe struck you in any way?
So for me, I started off, I was an engineer. I came through the
Mhm.
engineering ranks, and I did electrical engineering, but then I got into areas of marketing, customer service, information technology. I've seen a lot of areas within our industry.
Can we back up 1 second? Okay, so you graduated from Harvard with a business management degree.
So I graduated from University of Florida with an electrical engineering
Uh-huh.
degree. Then I got an MBA from University of West Florida, and then Harvard
Okay.
after that. Yeah,
Yes.
did a general management program with Harvard.
Uh-huh. And did you have any prospects lined up for a position anywhere? Did you already have prospects? Did you know you wanted to be in the
Utility.
in the
I
electrical
did.
industry?
I had done an internship when I was in college,
Okay.
and that
So that
internship,
was that the spark
the
that made you decide?
internship was the spark that
Mhm.
gave me a desire to work in the utility industry. I had not thought much about it before then,
Okay.
but that internship made a huge difference. That's why I
Mhm.
highly recommend that to students now. Do an internship, and that's what gave me the spark. And
Okay.
so, right out of college, I pursued opportunities with utilities,
Okay.
and been in the plant environment. As I said earlier, did engineering, did marketing, did customer service, did IT. But from what I could see, and going back to your original question of what I've seen has been the changes and across the decades of my experience, I think this industry has become a lot more customer oriented than it
Mhm.
was when I first started.
Okay. Mhm.
Back in the day, one of the things I knew was, cliche, we had all the power, right? And I remember those days, but I have seen how important it has been for us to become um, a very, very customer centric and value oriented as we go about doing what we do. And that has been important for a number of reasons. But what I've learned is that when we do that, we deliver our best products. When we diversify our energy mix, we provide our best value for our customers. When we look at our employee base and make sure that we have a broad inclusion of employees from all over and make sure that our employees are skilled and trained and able to do what they do,
Mhm.
we deliver our best value for our customers. When we treat our people right, when we do what's right by our people, we will deliver the best value for our customers. And so, all of those things I've
Mhm.
seen in my career, and I've seen how those things have really changed to become much more positive. I would say today than they were before, and it may be a reflection of a number of things. But at the end of the day, it's all been, I think, for the betterment of our customers and the
Mhm.
service that we provide.
Mhm. Good management always has good backup.
Absolutely.
Also,
Leadership matters.
absolutely. Mhm.
Leadership matters.
It sounds like you have the experience and the knowledge and the caring to be in a leadership position
I will tell
and to.
you, Pueschel, that you see a lot of things in the time frame that I've been in the environment at the utility business. I've seen great leaders,
Mhm.
incredible leaders, many of whom I work with today.
Mhm.
I've seen leaders that weren't so great.
You
Um,
learn from them too.
and I
You
learn from
learn
them
what
too. I
not to
tell
do.
people, one of the things I say to people, you can learn something from everybody.
Sure.
Even if you just learn to leave them alone, you still learn
There
something.
you go.
You
Yeah,
still learn
it's
something.
true.
But I've also learned that every job that I've had has been a developmental opportunity where I've learned more and more. No job's permanent. I've sought to learn things in every job that I've had. And I've seen over this time that employees, that leaders really have an impact on the outcome of our people.
Mhm.
So important.
So, with this 100-year celebration, is FPL throwing a party?
Well, we are planning some things
Uh-huh.
to ensure that we celebrate appropriately.
Uh-huh.
The fact that, I mean, that's a great. I mean, 100 years is
It's a big
phenomenal.
deal. It
It's a
really
big
is. Yeah.
deal, and so certainly there are things being done to put together things to
Mhm.
make sure that we recognize that throughout the time frame of the year, and we're doing that as we speak.
Mhm. And so, as far as the focus on the FPL value story
Hmm.
and the evolution of FPL and just what you're doing for the community, do you have any closing thoughts or message?
Yeah, so I'll just reiterate a couple of things, Michelle, that I've said maybe earlier with a little bit more emphasis. Um, our people are so special. Are very, very special. And I think because of them, we're able to do what we do on behalf of our customers. I can't thank them enough for what they do every day in good weather and bad, when things are going well for them and when it's not. I have seen, I've walked alongside them, I've sat with them on the phones, I've been with them and seen how they engage with our customers to deliver that value. We know we had some rocky transitional times when we went from Gulf Power to FPL.
I remember the city
Yeah,
council meetings,
yes. So
and
we know that.
everybody was, well, not everybody, but there was a group who wanted the city
Yeah,
to have
yeah,
their own electrical utility.
yeah. But our people
So
are
that
resilient.
so
Yeah.
that there's competition.
Yeah, our people are resilient. Much like I talk about the resilient infrastructure, our people have been resilient. I can't thank them enough for their hard work and for their diligence in making sure that we are able to deliver that value that I've talked about. So I thank them. I thank the communities that we serve to allow us to be able to be a part of the things that are going on as we seek to make sure that we're able to grow appropriately with integrity to serve those communities that we're blessed to have a part to be a part of. And so again, I can't say enough about our people, our customers, and our communities. Those have been the three things for me that I have focused on since I've come back to Northwest Florida.
Mhm. Amazing. Uh, do you give tours of any of the facilities?
I do believe we do, and I think we can arrange that. Certainly, sometimes I know we've had folks that have come out to some of our solar sites that wanted to see how they work and how how that looks and what actually happens, so they get information from that, and that's important. I think that there are sometimes folks that come out to see our plants, see how they operate, want to understand that as well. I think there have been episodes of that. And we also, one of the things we do is, especially as we work with students, we'll come out at any given time and engage with students, teachers, and others. We'll go out to the communities and give talks to civic groups to explain to them things that are going on, much like what I've taught you about today. We're certainly grateful opportunities to be able to do that at any given time across the communities that we serve, because we think our story is a good one. We're not where we want to be yet. We're still going in the direction we need to go, but I do believe our story is a great story as we continue to strive to deliver value for our customers.
Oh, just another quick question that kind of pops in mind. Are is one of the goals to bury all of the lines where there aren't any above
Yeah. Great
ground?
question, Michelle, and I'll tell you, we have this conversation quite
There's
often.
probably some places where you just simply can't bury
Some
them.
places it's not feasible to do
Mhm,
that. As I mentioned earlier, the program that we have, that our Storm Secure Underground program is
mhm,
one that where we have a plan to do that in
mhm,
areas where we have reliability challenges and where it makes sense, feasible to do so.
mhm.
We are doing that, and we'll continue to look for ways to do that. So I don't know that I foresee a day when every line
Everything.
will be
Mhm.
underground. That's probably not practical
Right.
from the standpoint of the cost and
Mhm,
just
mhm,
repairs and things of that nature. But where it makes sense to do
mhm.
that, where it's feasible to do that, and where it
Maybe,
brings value, we'll do it.
yeah,
Absolutely.
maybe in the places where it would be feasible, as it needs repair, put it under. But if there's nothing wrong with it, there wouldn't be any reason to take
Yeah.
the
So
other
we
ones under.
Yeah, and that's how we approach it. We
Mhm,
do approach it that way, trying to be strategic about it, making
mhm,
sure, again, as I mentioned, it's part of our way of being innovative and efficient and helping to keep those bills low for our customers. We want to make sure that we do that in the right way and to continue to
mhm,
deliver value for our customers. That's very important. In fact, when you think about it, when you take coupling the hardening of our system with the steel poles or the concrete poles where there are and the intelligent technology systems that we put out in our infrastructure, those oftentimes can compensate and certainly can make certainly increase reliability and allow us to deliver that power to our customers in a much more efficient way than necessarily putting everything underground. So we'll continue to look for ways to make sure we do that in the best way possible.
Well, I appreciate that. This has been a great conversation. I've learned a lot from you,
Thank you.
and I really appreciate you explaining everything in detail like you
Well,
have.
thank you for the opportunity, Michelle. I really appreciate this opportunity. And we look forward to continuing the dialogue anytime that we can to help clarify questions, provide information, do what we can to help make sure that customers understand the importance of us delivering value to them. That's really why we're here every day and do what we do every day.
I appreciate that, and I'm looking forward to having you back on maybe
Well, thank
next
you.
year.
Thank you. Look forward to it.
Well, thank you.
All right.
The Thornton Review is on the air to provide public service awareness and intellectual infrastructure to our community. This show was made possible by Ida Gates Godly Teas LLC. Alpha Fence Company, and our guest, J.T. Young, Florida Power and Light Vice President and General Manager. And we want to thank you for watching this episode of the Thornton Review. Bye-bye.